Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Magic Arena Run. Today, we're going to be continuing our series of inspecting the challenger decks. Last time I did this, we went through the mono green deck. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I thought I was playing the worst deck because it felt so outdated. But it actually turns out to still have quite some legs. It actually did quite well against Is It Flash Tempo, and it had an interesting four game win run in the in the queue. So we're going to go. So as you can see, the decks will be physically available March 26th, but they already released the deck lists, and you can check the deck lists out right here. So last time we did mono green, and this time we're going to do mono red. So right off the bat, we can see them. This is where our budget gets hit. So by having two Shatter Skull Smashings, we only have one Ember Cleave. Considering that most versions nowadays just run lots of Tor brands, it's actually not so bad a change. I would prefer like a 3-2 split, but having the Shatter Skull Smashing for big creatures is fine, especially when you can use Tor brand plus any removal to make up for that. So let's start with the good points first. Kargan Intimidator, Rimrock Knight. So these are our 3 drops. Instead of Robber of the Rich, which is also good and annoying in its own right, but Robber of the Rich has a power of 2, which makes it more susceptible to Elspeth's Nightmare. So by having these guys as power 3, they actually it's fewer vulnerabilities. That said, the one lowlight I have for this one is Akoum Hellhound. This guy has been more missed than hit. If in my personal experience, I would much rather have another one drop. I would much rather have Fireblade Charger because it trades better. It synergizes better with Rimrock Knight. It synergizes better with Castle Embert, which is actually a good addition for this deck. We don't normally get any rare lands here. In fact, if we look at the mono green deck, we basically just got forests. Well, we got Kazandu Mammoth, so I guess that's our rare land. Actually, got more rares on that end. But then the other issue we have here is, okay, I get that they do not want to give us snow-covered lands, so that's why we have good old Shock instead of Frostbite. As far as removal here is concerned, okay, 2 mana, 3 damage. I guess it's fine. There are probably other options I would prefer. I would personally have preferred Fire Prophecy because this deck suffers when it gets stuck on too many lands. Another option would also be Scorching Dragonfire for certain matchups because card recursion is an issue. Mono red typically just plays to win as quick as possible. If your opponent's able to bring resources back, very often, we do get into a lot of trouble. And what we have here, basically, it's more of supplementing it. So we have Red Cap Melee, which is actually positioned quite well now that Goldspan Dragon is very popular. There's 2 Soul Seers for the Lovestruck Beast, so I think this could be done more. Thundering Rebuke, I'll be honest, even for nowadays when you get hit with Planeswalkers, the Planeswalker part's not so relevant. Usually, if Mono Red gets to a point where opponent drops a Planeswalker, you probably already lost. So Thundering Rebuke's not quite helping here. I would probably rather have additional Soul Seer. The Roiling Vortex is fine. Unfortunately, Mono Red only has Soul Guide Lantern as a means of eating the graveyard. Maybe there are better options here, like I don't think we don't have Grafdigger's Cage anymore in Standard. Well, you could just have Tormod's. No, Tormod's Crypt is, well, it's fine. But no, we don't have Grafdigger's Cage anymore. We do have Weathered Runestone, but I think Soul Guide Lantern might be better in that case. I guess we could just have Sorcerer's Spyglass, but no, that's way too specific. But other than that, that's pretty much the deck list. Pretty much greatest hits, but it does feel a bit outdated. It also does suffer from the fact that mono red is very easy. very easily solved, and this is not a mono-red friendly format right now. That said, yeah, we're gonna go traditional standard because this has a sideboard, and we're gonna see how far we go. If it doesn't pan out well, I'll just supplement the rest of the matches with the queue. So we maxed out at 6 matches last time. And considering this is mono red, these matches should go a lot faster compared to mono green. I'm already loading when we get to the white blue Azorius control, because if I go 6 full matches with that one, that's gonna take forever. That might be a 2-parter already at that point. Let's bring up the deck list so that everyone knows what we're up with. And this is probably the worst start. Also not... I'm gonna take one mulligan because our opponent did. Okay, this is a much better start. I will probably cut Annex as... I'll probably cut Annex here instead. Yeah, we go the aggro. Maybe removal somewhat. Opponent's gonna take 2. This better not be Tybalt's Trickery. That we have no way of beating that. Honestly, I wouldn't know, but nah. We have no way of actually beating an actual Tybalt's Trickery deck. The only way we beat it is if it beats itself. And okay, Fabled Passage is usually a sign that it's not a Tybalt's Trickery deck, but we could, and it's more okay. There's white, so it's not Tybalt's Trickery. So yeah, cutting the Annex starting to look okay. We can pretty much function at 2 mana for the most part. Opponent takes Aspirant. So it's gonna grow to 3. My concern is if our opponent ends up dropping. So what we're going to do is, yeah, we're just gonna, yeah, no preamble. We're just gonna stomp this now. Our opponent had to mulligan down to 5, so they're relying on every single resource. If we can keep denying it, we probably stand a better chance here. Next turn, if we don't draw a mountain, we're forced to play this as a land because we want to get this down next turn. Not too bad. At least it opens up this as a choice. We're putting a little bit early pressure. Yeah, the multi-fervent champion openings are perfect if you can get them down early. I've even done openings where it's like turn 1 Akoum Hellhound, turn 2 fervent champion, hit for 6. Opponent tanking. If you're tanking way this early, you either have a very big decision to make, or you're salty because opponent, oh, white red, so opponent might have removal. Robber of the Rich. Okay, so they're gonna take a card, take our Spike Field. Ugh, that's a good one. Well, we did draw a land though, so Royal Eruption. I can wait on this actually. If our opponent were to say have another Luminarch Aspirant, I want to be able to snipe it. Actually, the odds are low. Yeah, let's go for damage. Let's regret later. Opponent's down to 2 cards. We're more likely to see a showdown if... No, opponent's legitimately stuck, so I'm good with that. So I'm gonna attack. If our opponent actually goes to stomp this, I will Spike Field Hazard our own guy. Just to deny even more resources. Then we play Kargan Intimidator. Now we note our opponent has last no, so 3 toughness is not good enough for us. Opponent finally hits their 4th land. Kind of stuck though. Yeah, let's swing with this. Opponent probably has another stomp, that's why they're holding. Yeah, they had another stomp. We'll let it go. So they fortunately had all the removal as well. The only benefit we have is that they're well, they could have Scorching Dragon. Okay, no Scorching Dragon Fire. They didn't even opt to. If they have the next 2 Bone Crusher Giants, I'm gonna be so. Well, if they have the next 2 Bone Crusher Giant Killer. Okay, so yep, it's typical of adventures. So we'll end the turn there. I probably should just play this in attack. I had no reason to hold up mana. Opponent goes Showdown. So what they're gonna do is drop Bone Crusher, then drop. Yeah, us getting stuck on mana is an issue. Playing this when our opponent has Bone Crusher is a bit weird, but I kind of want to bait out the scenario where our opponent, well, our opponent probably just plays the 2nd Showdown, but I wanted to bait the situation where our opponent goes for the Bone Crusher. They just play a creature, and that's it. It's a counter, but loses all the other cards. We finally get Torbrand down, but I have to Royal Eruption here because any other creature our opponent casts is going to just buff it up. I want to force our opponent to lay these down. Like the logical step is Bone Crusher Giant Killer, which is bad for us because yeah, they play the Giant Killer now. Make this a 5/4. Seasoned Hollowblade, just as annoying. Okay, so we have the Torbrand, but we are going to take the big hit. At the very least, Torbrand can block Seasoned Hollowblade or force so we're gonna take 5. We're gonna take 5 for now. Yeah, opponent plays that, hoping for another burns. I'm trying to wait. That's our opponent. Our opponent could have wait. Bone Crusher number 4. Oh come on, that's gonna be. If they have it, so be it. They have it. Discard this. Could just be a regular burn spell though, which would be still annoying. Oh no, just Bone Crusher. That's fine. So we got Kargan Intimidator. I can deal 5 to our opponent's face, but probably better. We're probably better off limiting our opponent's attack options. The reason I go for this one's because this one's already out of reach for all my other spells. Yeah, they had the Shepherd to save it. Well, unfortunately, Royal Eruption's a sorcery speed, so I can't exactly do anything about that. So, yeah, not good. Our opponents just reset with all their stuff. So, if we're going to redo this, we know we have to deal with Seasoned Hollowblade. Oh, he's gonna... maybe you should have done that before attacking. That's weird flex, but yeah, we're just drawing lands, so I'm gonna concede here at this point. Our opponent already has a full board. And that's kind of one of the weaknesses of mono red. So what options we have? Soul Seer, because our opponent has Seasoned Hollowblade. So the Royal Eruption is still fine, but not optimal. Does our opponent have ways of gaining life? Not really, but I do want red cap. I'm actually not sure if I want red cap melee. Our opponent has a good number of white creatures. So let's cut 2 of the royal. Actually, let's keep the shocks. I need to keep the Akoum Hellhounds because we're on the play and we need to be aggro. You know what? Let's give Thundering Rebuke. Actually, the problem with the sorcery speed removal is because our opponent has Shepherd. That kind of takes out quite some of the equity. I might be better off with red cap melee here. So we'll give it a shot like this. I'm thinking of Relic Robber as a way to have extra damage in. The problem is these tokens can still attack, and if our opponent resolves a showdown. And take note, we have well, this is mono red, no enchantment removal whatsoever. And surprisingly enough, in the sideboard, if you might have noticed, no artifact removal either. So slow start, but I'm actually kind of okay with this. So the Spikefield Hazard can snipe something down. I definitely want to play Intimidator first if given the option. Problem is we are so ill-suited against our opponent's deck. Basically, all of our opponent's removal is live. So I actually don't really want to play this early. I actually want to wait a turn. I could also just play Rimrock Knight. It's less of an issue. Yeah, let's just play Rimrock Knight. It's less. We need to put something on the board, but we also don't want to. We don't want to necessarily lose our best creature, and I'm kind of saying it with some air quotes. Boros Snow is actually well positioned. If our Selfless Savior opponent's stuck. Okay, let's capitalize on that. So next turn I definitely want to play Anax ASAP. Okay, our opponent's definitely, well, not too stuck. Well, so much for playing Anax. Yeah, let's give it a +1. So we're probably looking. Okay, the worst case we can get hit with is some Stomp, but we can always actually shock ourselves. Okay, Stomp is still possible. So I'm actually. Okay, we did draw the land, so I'm gonna play the land, play Annex now. If our opponent goes for the Stomp, I will just snipe it so that we're one less creature to worry about. Yeah, they definitely have the Stomp if you're looking at these guys. But I'm also willing to deny you the Bone Crusher Giant. If this is Showdown, that buys, well, no, Seasoned Hallowed Blade. Interesting enough. Because even if our opponent's able to make it indestructible, it still taps it down, which is more important for... Yeah, opponent sees that we're just going to smack through. So we got there. I don't know if we'll make it to the next one. At least we did not have to show red cap melee. Let's go with this one. Let's see if this still pans out. Don't get me wrong, I'm actually glad we got the game off this one. Though it's off the back of our opponent relying on relying on doggos every turn. So we got Hellhound into not necessarily Hellhound to Bone Crusher, but the good news is our opponent. So what we can do is actually play Hellhound. Is our opponent gonna stomp it? No, Glass Casket, and this is why I believe we should have we should have artifact removal. Now, as much as I want to hold it back as a combat trick, realistically, no, they're not gonna fall for it. I still technically have a combat trick in conjunction with Fervent Champion. But I'm looking at being locked down, and basically Casket and Skyclave Apparition. No, Aspirant is fine. The Giant Killer also fine. Opponent, interesting. Now, unfortunately, the correct play is to always go after the Aspirant because that thing just grows. Now I wish I did not play this, so we kind of have to play this one. But yeah, this is technically not a win. If our opponent plays Showdown, that's an uphill climb at that point. If our opponent goes like Frostbite, that's also annoying. If our opponent goes Shield, so basically we need to deal 3 that. This is basic. All creatures basically have Absorb 1, so yeah, these are not getting through anytime soon. Yeah, if I swing with this one, just get. I could try to scare our opponent, but I sincerely doubt our opponent's gonna fall for it. Let's just drop something big. My fear is Glass Casket. I think Bone Crusher's okay. Yeah, not having artifact removal. Whoever made the mono red deck fell asleep at the sideboard. That said, I really will cut Thundering Rebuke at this point. That's really not a fit there. Opponent probably Frostbites Bone Crusher. Oh, they're not. They're not gonna snipe it immediately. So what I can do is I can play this first, force our opponent to go do the Frostbite immediately before I start getting tokens. That said, the 1/1s are gonna do absolutely nothing. I can't even attack with Fervent Champion because yeah. So, and the -2 just becomes a -1. Yeah, need Torbrand's help. Let's see if our opponent falls for this. They probably won't. They just take the 1. Oh, they did fall for it. So let's show. Oh, the damage can't be prevented. Oh wait. Oh wait, oops. I forgot the other half. Should I shame scoop at this point? I forgot this one has and it's not cost 1 more. It just counters it. So you know that's actually horrible. You should make it cost 1 more. Because instead of an illegal play, what we have here is a legal play that people are gonna fall for. I personally, well, I'm on the receiving end, so that's why I feel like it's bad. So that's why I'm kind of bitter about it. I really think it's bad design. And there's a red cap melee. My opponent can make it indestructible, so it's kind of a good point. And our opponent has Skyclave Apparition on ready. Yeah, not having the artifact removal really hurts us. Castle Embert only just makes it deal 1 damage instead of 2. Yeah. Someone fell asleep on the wheel here. Oh, opponent's actually gonna take it? Oh yeah, he has Frostbite. Okay, who let it? Yeah, there was no good outs on this one. We can concede at this point. Yeah, yeah, seriously, why is there no artifact removal? That was pretty much my automatic first complaint when I saw the sideboard here. Not having no artifact removal is probably the worst thing you can do. Like, I get that red does not get enchantment removal normally, so that's fine. But come on, come on. At least red has artifact removal, and we have the best one, Emberet Shield Breaker. So why not have? So why not have that? So this is okay. Opponent's playing Lurrus. Unfortunately, all our removals too. So and the Hellhounds. Okay, now we have 2 Hellhounds instead of 1. So I am definitely gonna keep this now. I do have to bin Torbran. But yeah, you're gonna see why Hellhound is horrible. Like, turn 1 I get to play Hellhound, turn 2 I play another Hellhound. I can choose to skip playing the land just so I can start hitting for 4/4. But realistically, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, I really still think Fireblade Charger is better. Sure, you get more explosive starts, but these peter out very quickly. So I'll just play this one. I know there's no Disfigure, but no, there's Bloodchief's Thirst, but that's a sorcery, so we might still get in for 2. My concern is that if this is rogues, well, I can play the Hellhound and snipe the rogue afterwards, so we still kind of have something. Yeah, Thieves Guild Enforcer. Now at least Castle Emberet with enough mana. Okay, so we know our 1 Torbrand's in the bottom, so that leaves us with exactly 1 Torbrand left. We could get away with Embercleave, but at least we have Castle Emberet. We also have a slow opponent since they're using Fabled Passage to get a blue source. I'm really gonna be surprised. This could be mono. Okay, that's really surprising and makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so our opponent, we're gonna add the Relic Robbers because that's a way to sneak damage through. We're gonna add, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, this is definitely rogue, so I don't think I'm still willing to keep the Royal Eruption and the other stuff. I'm just gonna cut 1 Anax and 1. Yeah, unfortunate. Oh yeah, we're adding the Soul Guide Lanterns because our opponent is. I guess we can cut 3 of the Hellhounds. Yeah, we'll go for it that way. So definitely adding the Soul Guide Lanterns because our opponent, their goal is to mill us, but we can also operate off our opponent's off their own graveyard as well. So we want to have an option to nuke their graveyard. It'll be too late for an Agadeem's Awakening or Call of the Death Dweller. So you have to, since it's that proactive, I get why you want Soul Guide Lanterns because sometimes when it doesn't pan out, you just want to draw a card. But more often than not, you really just want to have the threat of nuking it immediately. Maybe Tormod's Crypt is better. Oh, we do get the Soul Guide Lantern now, but my concern is that we have absolutely no place to no plays against a deck that plays early. I'm gonna mulligan this. Okay, this is a lot better. We are... I'm going to, surprisingly enough, bin the Anax because we are reliant on... Because at least with Bone Crusher Giant we have a turn 2 play. I could just aim for a land, but, well, we did draw a land, so... Yeah, so lucky. But at least with Spikefield Hazard, it gives us the option to snipe a creature. I think what happened was our opponent... So let's get some early aggro going. At least with turn 2 Stomp will take out Ruin Crab. It'll take out Ruin Crab too. So opponent is gonna try for the mill plan. Land. Okay, those are perfect mills. I should thank our opponent. Now this one is super obvious because so our opponent might be tempted to block it. They probably won't suspect anything. Yeah. Of course they're gonna block it. Now that said, at least we have an early aggro plan going and we have Bone Crusher as backup. Well, Stomp as backup. But yeah, I goofed up that last game. That one's really my fault. One has another Fabled Passage, but no Ruin Crab this time, so... I bet our opponent is leaning on that Rogue. Could also be a Drown in the Lock, in which case... Can't do anything about that. Heartless Act now, it will stifle our plans, but... I'd rather it come out now than come out later, so... Yeah, opponent clearly has something. Though I think if they had a removal spell, they probably would have waited for this. So they're more likely signaling. They're probably signaling a creature drop. Soaring Taut Teeth. We'll let that resolve. We'll let our opponent block. Oh, our opponent did not block. So you know what? Fine. I'm gonna let it through. I know this does not have Zarat Sand because, well, Lurus. But I still want to have the option to remove multiple targets, so... We're gonna hold on that one. But I definitely want to unload this salvo as soon as possible so we can... Merfolk Wind Robber. We have 4 cards in yard. Okay. We have 6 cards in yard. Let's snipe this. 7 cards in yard. But we now have to hold the Bone Crusher Giant. So at least if our opponent has a kill spell, that's awfully weird timing, but yeah, he does have the kill spell. Still get the pump. Yeah, you missed the timing. But now we have to be concerned that our opponent has... So we definitely snipe Lurus whenever possible. Wind Robber, so we'll leave that alone. In fact, I could just leave I can leave anything alone at this point. Basically, I can just charge with Kargan Intimidator and just pump. Well, I can make it a coward first. Well, we're losing some of our good stuff at this point. Opponent didn't. It's gonna be annoying if our opponent has another Heartless Act, but sometimes that's the breaks. No, we're just getting lands. Oh, it also shrinks it. Hey, so there. Hey, interesting strategy. So go to blocks. Opponent can still. It still has its ability, so it can block Fervent Champion and. It can block Fervent Champion to save and sack to draw a card, save that 1 damage. So we're gonna pump. Opponent could have a Heartless Act at this point. I can't do anything about that. Opponent sacks, draws a card. Yeah, but we need more gas. Thankfully, our opponent hasn't hurt any of our other creatures quite yet. I know our opponent wants to... Bloodchief's Thirst. Okay. Well, parting shot. Parting shot, because why the heck not? Opponent still hasn't reached for Lurrus yet, so I'm more concerned about Call or Agadeem's Awakening. At least Agadeem's Awakening we can... Well, snipe, well, it's a horrible snipe plan, so we're gonna leave it at that. Opponent could just decide to leave this alone, but... Well, curiouser and curiouser. Call up the Death Dweller, gets 2 Merfolk Wind Robbers. I'm still dead. Doesn't really matter too much. I'm still, though our opponent essentially just casts 1 spell to draw 2 cards and deals some extra damage. And yeah, we have no way of preventing them from drawing cards. I would love to hit something like a Torbrand at this point. Well, Shock is fine. Okay, let's do the math. 7, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. Not enough. I really need... I basically need to keep swinging this one until our opponent's at a low enough life range. If our opponent just kills this one, well... Need to top deck a burn spell? Well, there goes our virtual last Torbrand, because our last Torbrand's really in the bottom. Oh no, we binned an Anax. Oh yeah, that was the first game. Okay, so creature shock. I really could have used that shock. Let's just throw one out. I want to see if our opponent definitely has drawn in the lock at this point for lack of playing anything else. I have to go for it. If they have it, they have it. If they don't, yeah, if they have it, they have it. We go to that last game. Okay, Fervent Champion. But now we have to deal with the But now we have to deal with the Lurrus. Though the nice thing is our opponent can't exactly kill Bone Crusher. Well, they can block Bone Crusher with, let's take this one. Thieves Guild Enforcer. Yeah, so that was their last card. Ooh, I needed that. That's worth a shot. So yeah, forced to block this one. If our opponent has removal, that's it. And even if we're forced to block, it's not... Well, our opponent still hasn't bought the lures. Okay, so 3, 6, 9... Technically, we're still alive. Yeah, we still have our Royal Eruptions. Wow. 1, 2, 3... 1... So, I'm trying to remember. I think we might still have more Royal Eruptions. Yeah, opponent just attacks all in at this point. Just Spike Field. Okay, those would not have done it, so... And he's holding back. So attacking is not an option. That's not help. That doesn't help. So we're literally trying to see... Yeah, that doesn't help. Okay, let's go to the... Yeah, let's go to the next game. So definitely... Since we're on the play now, we need to be aggro, so I'm gonna add the Hellhounds in now. The Relic Robber would have bought us some time, but it feels a bit late. Also, I'm scared that they might have the steel part. Actually, one thing we can do... Let's cut one of these. I'm thinking about Roiling Vortex, though our opponent doesn't exactly have a way to gain life, and they're putting creatures in the yard, they're not casting them, so the Roiling Vortex doesn't quite help on that end. I guess we go for this one and see what pans out. But yeah, we need to be on the aggro plan. That's the problem. So if ever we lose this match, I'll probably play 2 more matches on rank just to get a bit fairer shake here. We have a Soul Guide Lantern, and we know our opponent's reliant on getting stuff from the yard, so this is not too bad. I just don't like that this does not... Okay, Ruin Crab. Oh, Akoum Hellhound came late. So the timing here is going to be awkward. We're going to definitely lose cards. Yeah, I think we kept the Roiling Vortex because we kept the Royal Eruption because we knew we had 3 toughness creatures to deal with between the Soaring Tawteeth and Ruined Crab. We have 3 cards in the yard. So I'm going to attack with this first. See what if our opponent okay, opponent's taking it. So I'm actually gonna play a Kargan Intimidator. Because some versions of this have Juari Disruption. Thieves Guild Enforcer. Yeah, I guess we snipe this one. 6 cards though, so our opponent's deck is technically live when they play another land drop. Like, I can play Shatter Skull Smashing for this, but I would much rather save it. Okay. Yeah, that last game was a bit sad. We were just 1 burn spell away. What we could do though is we can just start swinging with the Intimidator, though I would not be surprised if our opponent has the removal already. So yeah, Rogues essentially trumps this. So I'm gonna play Annex. I really need to force out that drown if possible. Nope. Really curious what our opponent's play is. Cling to Dust, eat. Well, there's a good candidate for Soul Guide Lantern. Actually, that's probably one of the better ones. So opponent's gonna mill us for quite a few cards. We do have a removal. Well, it only deals 2 damage. Okay, so they have their 4 mana. They probably just draw cards. Well, there goes 1 Torbrand. There goes 3 out of 4 Fervent Champion, so I don't actually want to draw the last one. Well, let's not be too hasty. Maybe we do want to draw the last one. Opponent probably wants to snipe Annex first, though they might try to get cute sniped in no, if they want to get really cute, they snipe the Hellhound first, in which case, yeah, sure, I'm fine. It's not, it's kind of done at this, it's kind of done its job at this point. And yeah, as you can see that Hellhound is perfect on the play when you get that as your turn 1 drop. It starts dropping equity at its as a 2 drop and whatnot. So okay, they're going for the Lurus plan. So pass. My turn. Got a Rimrock Knight, so we actually have a plan here. I guess I do. Wait, no, I need to save that as removal eventually. So Soul Guide Lantern first, because I need to. Then we'll eat the Cling to Dust. Actually, we just eat. We don't have to eat this immediately. We'll eat the Thieves Guild Enforcer first. Yeah, probably blocks it. So I can actually go for. If he goes for the sack, so definitely, we definitely go for the pump just to keep it alive in case he decides not to sack it. When he does sack it, well, we also go for the trample too. So this is 8 damage coming in. Oh, our opponent can't sack it. So since I want to sack this anyway, but I kind of might need this. Okay, let's go for 7 damage for now. Oh wait, our opponent can sack it. Forgot. Look at our graveyard, not their graveyard. So they draw a card. Now let's see. 4. Do we go for the 8 or for the 10? I say we put them down to 3. So we're gonna have to be clever about this. Yeah, at least we look okay. At least Hellhound's a good time to lose it. Now this puts a spell on the stack, so I cannot let this land first. I have to nuke his yard ASAP. As if he goes for casting this, I nuke the yard. And their opponent concedes because yeah, they had nothing else to get back. Actually, I don't know. Well, we could Shatter Skull Smashing this one. That's what we had that option. So we managed to get 1 win against Rogue. So and that took a lot longer than I wanted. But well, Rogues is not exactly our best matchup. In fact, it's probably one of our worst. And the fact that we did well, let's pat ourselves in the back there. That's good. Let's give ourselves a good pat in the back. Okay, so we got 1 win and 1 loss. Any match could be our last. I think, yeah, given how much time we have left, last time we did basically a full 6 matches, but let's go for at least 5 matches total. I would have thought that we would have gotten faster matches here, but not quite. Come on. But you know what? We have a plan. So basically, and in fact we can play. Yeah, we drew the land, so we have that plan. So if we draw another mountain, we can go or another land that's not Shatter Skull Smashing, we can go Fervent Champion, hold up for shock. Otherwise, oh, okay, so we did not. Let's try to be a bit conservative with our life total because I have no idea what we're up against. Well, this usually signals Sultai. It's a weird start to it though. No, this is Teamer. So this is Genesis Ultimatum, so we're gonna need all the burn we can in the world here. Now the reason I'm willing to play Annex is because our opponent did not show black mana, so no Extinction Event, no Shadow's Verdict. Opponent's really going out for that Genesis Ultimatum. So 4, 5 damage, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we're gonna let our opponent cast Genesis Ultimatum. We're going to, if it doesn't kill us immediately, yep, they go for the Genesis Ultimatum. I'm hoping that there is no particular drop. Okay, Shark Typhoon is fine. In fact, it's over. Yeah, one can see it already, but so we definitely want a lot of direct damage because oh wait. Now they're not casting the spell. Unfortunately, Roiling Vortex is good against Sultai Ultimatum, but not Jeskai. Not Jeskai. It's good against Emergent, but not Genesis Ultimatum. Relic Robber would give us some extra pings. Our opponent's definitely playing Adventure, so we're gonna put Soulseer in. Though it's also possible that our opponent just decided to skip everything and just run straight for the fast ultimatum. That's also a thing. So what are our options? This might not be fast enough at this point, so I definitely want... I'm gonna try the Relic Robbers, cut 1 Annex. We... Do I want Red Cap Melee? Because this usually runs Terror of the Peaks, probably Gold Dragon, so yeah, probably gonna run those. I'm not too sure about Relic Robber. If we can get early hits, but we might be too late. Probably cut 1 Rimrock Knight for another Red Cap Melee. Basically, we're assuming that we're not going to be able to stop a Genesis Ultimatum. Our opponent's gonna have to stop it themselves by somehow getting problems with their mana, and well, I guess no weird ones problems here. So that's an auto mulligan. Yeah, we keep this 1, 2, 3. Well, I guess we bin 1 Spike Field Hazard. I don't like this at all. Okay, maybe we can like it a little bit. We did hit a land. But We literally don't have enough aggro. I might even be forced to play Shatter Skull early. Chainweb Arachnir. Well, Castle Lambert helps. They're not running Miscast, are they? No, they're not. So next turn we'll definitely go for the Bone Crusher Giant. Opponent probably goes for a Cultivate, because that's this usual MO, but yeah, we're not dealing enough damage here. We really want to be on the play. Okay, another Spike Field Hazard. So we got 6 damage in hand. At least we're able to answer the Chainweb Arachnir. Now let's see if our opponent has anything else on board. Beanstalk Giant, search for a land. Holding up 3 mana is usually indicative of a counter spell. Just their own Bone Crusher Giant. Can't play Torbran. Do I want to play Torbran? I'm taking 4 damage just to clear this out. Yeah, this feels really stupid. But yeah, we did not draw our red cap melee, so that's how it is. Opponent doesn't really have a full graveyard, so yeah, maybe gunning for Torbran might not be so opponent's gonna resolve an ultimatum. I can play Torbran just... No, they're going for the Beanstalk Giant, so Torbran's not gonna punch through this. Neither's that shock, but yeah, this is probably a horrible play. Yeah, now we're open to getting killed. Yeah, having to spend 2 cards on that. Opponent has another one. Got ourselves a big Anax. So we're forced to hold back, but at least our opponent hasn't. Our opponent has the mana for ultimatum. They just haven't played it yet. Playing another Beanstalk Giant. I'm fine with swinging with this one. Hold on. 3, 4, 5. Let's do the math. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our opponent's forced to block this one. So I have to ping that, sack this, and then we might as well pump everything because that's all I got. Unfortunately, we only got like 4 creatures total, so they probably have an ultimatum by now. Oh no, they had to crush the weak. Okay, so that's their sideboard tech. No way, no real way around that. So we know they have that sideboard tech, so probably should be a bit more careful. I bet our opponent does have ultimatum by now, or it's probably gonna start pinging us with Shark Typhoon. Well, that will do us into. Yeah, we need to draw runner burn spells, and one of them has to be Royal Eruption. No, opponent's going for the big Shark Typhoon plan. Opponent's actually holding back. Oh wow. Let's scare our opponent a bit, but more likely than not, this game is over for us. We're gonna have to try again. Yeah, we're not getting past with creatures. Opponent could just also eat their yard just to get a big blocker down. Yeah, we're missing a lot of the evasive creatures. We got a lot of haste, but no evasion at all. Okay, like I got Kargan Intimidator, but this guy's not gonna do much. Essence Scatter. Yeah, we can concede at this point. Opponent has close to lethal on board already. So let's get more aggro on board. We're definitely moving the Hellhounds back in. So the red cap melee is still fine. I'm gonna actually move 2 back. I'm gonna cut the relic robbers this time because we're now on the play. Though I might actually want to just split it 3 and let's fill up the Rimrock Knights. Also, because Crush the Weak will also terminate the tokens on their side, so relic robber not so great anymore. Not the best start, but I'll take it. We start off with a Kargan Intimidator. But yeah, this is probably a mistake. We want to be able to start with a 1-drop into a 2-drop. This is not gonna pan it for us. Also, I'm surprised opponent does not have Clotis on the sideboard. Well, we might see it now. That's gonna ruin us. Wow, we're just getting the multiples. I'm scared to play this. I have no choice but to play this now. I'm expecting this to get stomped. At least we have red cap melee this time, but yeah, it's gonna get... Oh, Fire Prophecy. Okay, not stomp, but yeah, all our creatures being soft makes these cards very good. I want to see if they have a negate. No, the bad news is I can't actually just play it out. We know they have Jawari Disruption. This comes into play tap, so it's kind of hurt. Okay. So, Essence Scatter is probably the problem, not Jawari Disruption. So, I still have to play it though. Or I can just play Royal Eruption. Let's... Yeah, they have something. So we're literally in the burn plan now because of this situation. We're waiting. Yeah, Beanstalk Giant's not great for us because our opponent can still hold up Disruption, or worse yet, an Essence Scatter. We need to have... Okay, not an Essence Scatter if they're dropping Chainweb Arachneer now. I don't like doing this, but at least I don't have to see it again. So if our opponent plays a Terror of the Peaks, yeah, at least we can red cap melee that. Goldspan Dragon, same. Looks like our opponent's got... Okay, let's hold this spell first. Opponent does have a response. Could be another Fire Prophecy, so they take 2 that. No, Shark Typhoon. X equals 3. We'll actually let that resolve. We'll red cap melee that. But still on the edge. Genesis Ultimatum ends it for us. Yeah, last time our opponent just had to run out lots of big creatures. We kind of... Yeah, that's the Goldspan Dragon. Does he hold back? No, he's going for it. Okay, we'll take... We're off to the races. Wait, does he have a spell? What's the follow-up? Oh, Bone Crusher Giant. Let's see if we can get another... removal. Yeah, problem is all of these individual spells, it's not the same as Historic. We don't exactly have Skewer the Critics. We don't have Wizard's Lightning, so the burn is super... Okay, the good news is our opponent does not have the triple blue. Well, our opponent attacks with Goldspan. They definitely have the triple blue, and we could already be dead by then. Let's see, Genesis? No, Beanstalk Giant, so playing it conservative. But we just drew another land. Unfortunately, we are kind of Actually, you know what? No, the only way we win is if we... oddly enough, if we don't block, which is super weird. But no, if our opponent plays another land, we're forced to block. It's kind of... If our opponent doesn't play another land, we're probably gonna be losing. It doesn't matter that much. Yeah, we're forced to block. Yeah, we took too long. It also didn't help that we had that such a weird hand. Yeah, we're forced to block this one. We're not gonna survive the next hit. Yeah, like we have a Goldspan Dragon to worry about, and our opponent now has 2 Beanstalk Giants. Well, yeah, as I said, this one's the real not so great deck. And Shatter Skull Smashing. Not even enough. Yeah, I'm just showing you what I had. That's about it. Yeah, so we definitely wanted more aggro. We probably want more reliable aggro. Yes, I get there's a big difference between 1 damage and 2, but yeah, so we did get 1 game out of each of those matches, but those weren't easy. In fact, I think usually it's the sideboard matches that were our problem. So half gold this time, so not too great, but could be worse. So we're gonna do one traditional standard match. I've been doing the Dimir one. That's the kind of the one I like the Dimir and the Azorius one a lot more. I like how much control I have with the Azorius one. It's just that it takes too long to play. And sometimes you maintain control, but you don't get a win condition on that one that easily. Anyway, we'll play first. So yeah, this is keepable. We'll probably lead off turn 2 Kargan Intimidator. Please don't have early removal. Yeah, and that's a thing. Control decks now, because of cards like Bone Crusher Giant, Brazen Borrower, lots of early game spells that you can play that become late game threats. It's essentially 2 spells for 1 card, so you actually get a lot of advantage of those. Same thing can be said with the Sultai Ultimatum. That one's just simply value all throughout. Yeah, we never ran into a Sultai Ultimatum deck. I kind of wish we got to try Roiling Vortex, but that is something I really want to try. Actually, there are quite a few decks where The sideboard cards have been, well, weird, for lack of a better term. Now, I'm playing this knowing our opponent probably has a stomp. It's more likely that our opponent probably, but, well, they probably have a removal spell, that's fine. They're also likely to just have value creatures as well. Hard to guess. Okay, so this is Naya. This is definitely this is still Showdown of the Skulls, but probably a lot more adventures. So if our opponent doesn't stomp this one, we have a different sort of race. Kind of want to just play the Annex just to Edgewall Innkeeper. Could still have a shock. No, Giant Killer. Yeah, Hellhound came very late there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is actually swing. I'm basically tempting the double block here. Single blocks, no, did not fall for either the single or the double. So yeah, we'll just deal the 3 damage. Play the value Annex. Probably just eats a Skyclave Apparition. The one trick we can do with the Hellhound. Okay, opponents. Okay, so this is the Unbridled Fury, Kazul's Fury combo. So basically, it's trying to cheese you by getting a creature with a high enough power toughness and just throwing it in the face. Bone Crusher. Yeah, that was expected. We got ourselves a token, so we're fine on that one. So what we can do is we can stomp. Probably just play the Hellhound now since we don't have anything better. Really would like to hit the Torbrand. Though, no, 4th land so we can play Torbrand. Though at least we have other options if we don't. Okay, they hit their 4th land, but it's tapped, so we're more likely to see the Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah, I was gonna say or Lovestruck Beast. Come on, 4th land. Okay, take the hit. It's tapped. Okay, it's just going for the straight trade, you know. We can go for another token. Let's go first snipe that. Let's go for the extra damage now because we can use Torbrand as our alternate. I could have gone for 2 tokens instead, but since these tokens are very soft, I'm not putting too much reliance on them. At least if I play Torbrand and I don't draw a land, I get to... This is still 6 damage. Opponent goes for the Innkeeper. Yeah, and the thing is, although they deal 3 damage, they still trade to a... They will still trade to a 1 power creature. I could see an argument for saving this for the Akoum Hellhound. But no, it would have been too obvious. Yeah, but an opponent goes for the Lovestruck Beast. So drawing a land is actually fine here. No, it's not fine. Actually, what I want to do is... No, it's actually fine. It'll allow me to play Bone Crusher Rimrock. Royal Eruption. No, what we do is we play Torbrand. Swing with these 2. Knock on wood, our opponent does not have an answer to Torbrand. Actually, if our opponent is willing to trade with Innkeeper, that's a weird trade. I'll take it though. Because it means the Lovestruck Beast is not attacking anytime soon. Very highly suspicious. Goldspan Dragon. That's fine. I'm trying to think how much damage can we afford to take, because our opponent needs... Because Unbridled Fury is basically... Oh, wait. Oh, I'll take that. And I don't think our opponent has a way to gain life. Oh, our opponent might have a way to kill Torbrand, but... Okay, we really have to keep those burn spells to the face. Yeah, we cheesed our opponent out on that one, so good job us. Now, but we're seeing, yeah, the melees come in, Relic, and the Soulseer comes in. So the Hellhounds sadly come out. We cut one Anax, we cut one... Actually gonna attempt... I'm not sure which one of these two I'd want to cut. Probably the Rimrock Knight. I could also just put one Hellhound back in and just cut one Intimidator as well. It's also possible that I'm just been sideboarding wrong. Like, I've been sideboarding to defend myself against our opponent's shenanigans, but what I should be doing is sideboarding to attack even faster. So the I would probably cut the Ember Cleave. I would still keep the 4 Annexes, because you kind of want to have at least one. We know, although that said, we know our opponent's gonna bring in Skyclave Apparition. They're probably going to bring in Glass Casket too, so I'm still angry that we do not have an Embered Shieldbreaker. Come on, that's... You sideboard for the card types that you want, that you need to deal with. So... I'm gonna... Ugh, this is a horrible keep. We're definitely mulliganing this. Now we have 4 lands, it's just that we do nothing for quite a while. This one's more reasonable. I can actually bin the melee for now. We have more copies of that in Soulseer, and we know our opponent has Lovestruck Beast, so that Soulseer is probably gonna be more valuable. So turn 1 champion, turn 2 Intimidator, unless we need to Royal Eruption something. I prefer to turn to Intimidator. Now, having Fervent Champion's an argument for keeping the Rimrock Knight, but there is more utility with this one. And this is probably gonna get stomped anyway. On the bright side, at least they stomped the Fervent Champion and not the Kargan Intimidator. Then watch our opponent play Skyclave Apparition. It's basically trading. I get the 2/2 back from the 3/1, so... No, Edgewall Innkeeper. I'm actually willing to let the Royal Eruption go because the hallmark of this kind of deck is Shepherd. Though if our opponent is playing it before without holding up the white mana, it's either they have a white mana in hand or something is up. This looks like something is up. Okay, so next turn we can Soul Seer or we can Torbrand. We did let our opponent have quite a lot of cards, though they did miss one land drop, so that's... Yeah, kind of wish this was Flame Spill now, but I understand why this is Soul Seer. When you have to deal with cards like this, it means a lot. Still not able to play Torbrand yet, but am I so glad we held up that kept that Soul Seer instead of Red Cap Melee. Now this one's fine too because it lets me pump and give trample, so I still get 3 damage in. And I can save the burn spell for later. Kinda wish I can drop Well, opponent's having to play quite a few tap lands. Like this came in tap, this was turn 1, so that was fine, but... Yeah, this slightly messed up our opponent's turn 4. No, not really. They... Glass Casket. Yeah, they finally had one. Opponent plays Giant Killer, so now I have to decide which one do I want to snipe. Probably the Giant Killer? Ooh, there's a Royal Eruption too. Yeah, or I was worried their opponent could have Snakeskin Veil, but considering how much this deck loves to play Shepherd of the Flock, I would really count on that happening instead. So what I would really like to well, another land is fine. It allows us to play these two. Showdown. Okay, opponent's digging. Okay, they can't play this yet, but they can play it next turn. Do they have... Well, no, it's... Red Cap Melee, so they take 2, they go down to 6. One, two, three, four, 5. I actually need like what, 7 mana to kick it, so that's gonna be a while. It might incentivize me to hold. Well, note, our opponent can easily play... No, they're playing the Giant Killer first. Oh, they're just gonna buff this. They're probably signaling that they do have some sort of removal. I played one Royal Eruption already. I could use another one. Opponent probably plays the Goldspan Dragon. They're not gonna let it go to waste. So, shock will... Any burn spell that hits directly, even the spike will do it. Opponent's concerned that I might be able to swing for the win. Hopefully they actually leave back. I just really need that... I really need that one extra burn spell. Okay, they're not gonna hold back. So in theory, I can Royal Eruption the Giant Killer. hold on, let's do the math. 4, 5, 6, 7. Our opponent could have Fury, which would kill. Wait, hold on. Kazul's Fury, that's just another 4. Well, if I'm dead, I'm dead. I need this to survive. Because our opponent can just double the Unbridled Fury this one. I can still kill it, but that means I really have to draw a Royal Eruption this time. Let's... Well, if they have the kill, they have the kill. I'll let it happen. And I will have no way of defending against an Unbridled Fury anyway. Okay. Does our opponent have a kill effect for it? Skyclave Apparition would be annoying. Yeah, I'm really concerned what they could have up for 3 mana. I know I can Royal Eruption the Giant Killer, then just punch through with Rimrock Knight. If they have an answer for Torbrand, it's over, so that's why I took the hit anyway. Kazul's Fury. Okay, that just puts a counter on that. That deals 3 damage. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I understand. Didn't work that way. Yeah, our opponent kind of hoisted themselves up on that petard. That one was not planned. Yeah, I think they were thinking that you could still put the counter on the Innkeeper, but no, you sacrifice everything as a cost, then the trigger goes on a stack. By then it's too late to put the counter. Yeah, well, at least sometimes that's how it takes to learn. So it's actually very close to. So I actually have to call it now. So I'm gonna talk about some of the changes I'm going to do to the deck. So first off, let's talk about the dog in the room. So Akoum Hellhound, not been happy with this one. I think I would rather have the Fireblade Charger there instead. That's my first change. I want to think of an option to put Frostbite, but let's also see if there's a way we can shave off rares, because that said, Emberet's fine. We can give up on Shatterskull Smashing, just add more, so we can have another Embercleave and add some more lands. We can also shave off rares from other ways, but let's also cut the 3 Thundering Rebukes, because I've never gotten around to playing that. Let's see. Instead, Emberet Shieldbreaker. This, like, a lot of the matchups we're kind of asking for it, and there you go. The Roiling Vortex actually does something, so I'm still gonna keep those. Red Cap Melee at 4 copies, I guess that's fine. The Relic Robber is questionable. I can see cutting the Relic Rob. Oh, and they're also rare, so one thing we can do is, if we want to get more, we can cut the Relic Robbers, add up a Soul Seer, add up a Soul Guide Lantern, or another Emberet Shieldbreaker, because this gives us extra creatures. Don't dismiss that. So we can add it this way. That gives us 2 rare slots. The first thing I can think of is like more Castle Emberets, but we need creatures that are resilient and that we can keep coming back to. Like, we have the Bone Crusher Giant as a one-off, but I'm also thinking of Phoenix. Where's that? Yeah, Phoenix of Ash. Basically, by shaving those slots. Now, I am giving myself two free rare slots and 2 free mythic slots, but we'll save that for later. So The Royal Eruption sometimes works. Like, there were matchups where it's great, but more often than not, it wasn't. So, 18, 19, 20, 20. So we have 24 lands. So I'm probably going to cut these. I did say I have two rare and 2 mythic slots, so let's fill those out. It's a shame that Robber is mythic, but we do need extra pressure to place early. And Robber of the Rich does mess up our opponent. Will mess up our opponent. So it's fine. So yeah, if you can put Robber of the Rich there, I would put Robber of the Rich there. It's just 2 copies. I can cut 1 Shatter Skull Smashing, put a 3rd Robber because we're not too reliant. We can even cut the Embercleave at this point because... Or what we can do is we can cut the Shatter Skull Smashings. We will be short on lands. We'll be running 22. But for this deck, it's kind of fine. Like, I don't... So... Maybe cut those... But I'll leave it as an exercise to you. The reason I'm not going to cut those from this build is because Shatter Skull Smashings also come with the pre-con deck. So if that's what you're starting out with, that's what you're starting out with. That said, we do have 2 free rare slots. If you have Goldspan Dragons, maybe cut the Embercleave for a Goldspan Dragon. That does seem like an interesting fit, though we do. But the Embercleave is also a free gimme. A Crowan War is a good way to clear the way. Tectonic Giant, no. If we want something rare, we want something that's relatively cheap and almost immediately impactful. Nuts. Well, we're not running that. Arnite has haste, and sometimes we do have 4 power creatures or more. I am more likely to consider Bergie. We may not get the Boast, but also note, Harnfell Horn of Bounty as a late game top end. That's also plausible. I might actually consider trying her out. Yeah, the thing is, when you think of mono red, you're really gonna be hard pressed to find any good rares at that range. So let's go for that experiment. Though what would we cut? That's another question. Like, all the cards here basically serve their immediate purpose. So it's why we don't have that many. Actually, you know what? Since we can't really fill out anything, let's just do the same. Let's just make the sanest play. More Castle Embrets. So this is how I would technically build it. Now, that said, another thing to consider is maybe the Royal Eruption is not so bad because we do sometimes need to hit our opponent in the back end. We could probably trim some cards that way. Yeah, this is how I would tweak the deck, just a little bit. Now, again, the Robber of the Rich, just to give us more early game aggro, because that's where we're suffering. I really would not add another Embercleave. I am tempted to just so it's basically cut these for Robbers or Goldspan Dragon. That's pretty much how I would build it. And otherwise, that's about it. I probably should test this. Out some other time, but I'll save that for then. Anyway, that's it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, turn on notifications and whatnot. Do check out my previous video on Mono Green Stompy, and do stay tuned. I'm going to do Rogues, and I'm going to do Control. I'm going to figure out which one. Probably the Rogues first. That's the one I like the most. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone.